Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the NFL Quick Talk podcast. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, and today I've had a week to stew on this full NFL draft, and I've given you ranked 32 to 1 every single draft class, and not just the first round, not just the first 3 rounds. Every single round was taken into consideration, every single pick. Let's get right into it. Starting off here at 32, I have the Texans. I don't think this has the potential to produce some quality players, but really this is the worst in my opinion. Kamari Lassiter was a reach. Really, the only pick that I liked here was Blake Fisher. Everyone else, just like Cade Stover, was a reach. Kalen Bullock was a reach. I didn't really like the rest of these picks. At 31, y'all know where I gotta go with this. The Atlanta Falcons. I try to be nice to them by not putting them dead last, but Michael Penix Jr., the most really puzzling picks I've ever seen in my life. But then past that, this draft, really, I only liked running back Chase McClellan out of Bama. If you're gonna take any player out of Bama, take a running back or a wide receiver, man. Especially in the 6th round, that's good value for Chase McClellan. Ruka Horhor, there were other players on the board, guys like Michael Hall that I liked better. And then taking two edge players in Brandon Dorless and Braylon Trice. Braylon Trice will be a player, but man, I didn't really like this draft. At 30 overall, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. From a talent standpoint, this wasn't too bad. They got the best center and the best tight end in the draft in their first 2 picks. Not too bad, but they were shopping for luxury players when they had holes to fill. When you pass on a guy like Taliase Fuaga and settle for a tackle DJ Glaze from Maryland, really doesn't speak well to your draft at all. Again, from a talent standpoint, this draft is good. They got some talented players, but they didn't really fill the holes that they needed to fill. At 29, I have the 49ers. I really like Pearsall as a player, but you probably could have traded down 5 or 6 spots and still got him in the draft. There were a couple wide receivers that teams really liked before him. Ronaldo Green is an okay pick, but then past that, I didn't really like any of their picks. I think Isaac Guerrero was a reach in the 4th round. Jacob Crowling, again, another reach in my opinion. And this class was just a lot of meh. And here we have the Buffalo Bills at 28. Really, Keon Coleman scares me. He looks just like Chase Claypool. Let's be honest here. He'll put up some good stats because he has freaking Josh Allen as his quarterback. But again, like the rest of these picks don't impress me. Cole Bishop was a reach. Ray Davis was a reach. Cedric Van Pran was probably a reach. The only pick I really did like here was Daquan Hardy out of Penn State going in the 6th round. I think he's a work in progress, but he has the traits. In the 27th, we have the Denver Broncos. You could argue that they should be lower, but I really did like the pick of Troy Franklin, in the 4th round here. I thought this was incredible value. Bo Nix definitely was a reach. It was a consensus reach, but they needed a quarterback because they don't have anyone in that quarterback room except for Zach Wilson, and we've already tried that experiment, right? Chris Abrams Drain, again, really good value in the 5th round here. It's not a bad class, but reaching for Bo Nix, I think, sunk this one. And at 26, we have the Cleveland Browns. They didn't have a first-round pick, but they made the most of what they did. I really liked the Michael Hall Jr. pick. Defensive tackle was a need, regardless of what people say. It was a need, so they did go out and get that guy. Jamar Thrash will be a speed threat on the outside. Didn't understand the Zach Zinner trade, so a couple with Zach Zinner and a loss of a first-round pick. That's why they're so low. But, I liked their picks in Thrash and Hall. And at 25th, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are really all over the place here. They got Trevor Lawrence, that wideout, and Brian Thomas Jr., but they had 3 needs: wide receiver, corner, and offensive tackle. And in their 2nd-round pick, they went defensive tackle. I'm not saying it wasn't a need, but they have players there, and they don't have players at corner and really at tackle either. But they took a project in Javon Foster from Missouri at tackle. Jarian Jones is a good corner, but you really need that number 1 corner that they just didn't get. So for that reason, that sunk their class for me, but they did get good players, which is why that it's not all the way down. At 24, I have the Seattle Seahawks. Byron Murphy II, taking him was a good pick, in my opinion. Christian Haynes, didn't really understand that one at guard. I think they could have went a couple places, but really overall, this is just kind of a meh draft. I did like Nehemiah Pritchett out of Auburn, so I'm glad that they took him with their 5th round pick, excuse me. But just a whole lot of meh, nothing to really sink it, but nothing to really boost it. And here the Rams went with an edge in the first round. That was very interesting. I thought that they should have gone Jason Newton at the time, but well, they got a good player. Blake Corum I think was an excellent pick, but really the rest of these picks, well, I did like Bueller out of Arkansas, the center. He's a project though. Braden Fisk I thought was very overhyped just because he ran a good 40. Let's see you do that in pads, bud. But that's beside the point. Rams draft pretty good. No real player that I truly loved though. And at 22, we have the Carolina Panthers. I did like the Xavier Legette trade. Pick. I really did trading up to get him. And then the rest of their picks. I mean, they're helping out Bryce Young, and this is what you want if you're a Panthers fan. You got Jonathan Brooks, the best running back in the draft, a stud. You got a great tight end in Jatavion Sanders, and don't get me wrong, he is a great tight end. He has the receiving skills of a Travis Kelce like player. Don't get me wrong on that. I saw it at Texas. And then the rest of these picks, I think, were really, really good. At number 21, I have the Titans here. Yes, I know. But I didn't really like the J.C. Latham trade when you had Talyase Fuaga and Olufashanu still on the board. I thought that J.C. Latham wasn't quite up to snuff with those two guys. Devondre Sweat was a reach, in my opinion. I did like taking edge Jalen Harrell in the 7th round, really one of the last picks. When you get a guy from a guy like Michigan or a guy like Georgia or Bama, a guy from those places, you take them, right? So, and I think this guy is excellent as well. So that was a steal, but really past that, just And at 20, I have the Chiefs, really only because the rest of their draft wasn't great, in my opinion. But trading up for Xavier Worthy absolutely put this where it is. If they didn't take Worthy, if they would have stayed put and got someone else, they would have been probably lower because I didn't really like the rest of their draft. But based on that one pick alone, they're here in the top 20. Xavier Worthy has that Tyreek Hill speed. Let's see him have the other stuff like the hands and the route running. But really, really smart idea to trade up there and grab him. Moving in here at number 19, I have the Miami Dolphins. Taking Edge Top Robinson in the first round was a good pick in my opinion. Patrick Paul is someone that is going to have to develop. He's not really NFL ready in my opinion. Jalen Wright is a very solid running back out of Tennessee, but they probably could have got him in the 5th round, to be honest with you. And then taking Taj Washington in the 7th round out of USC, I thought that was a great value pick, and that's why they're here in the top 20. At 18, I have the Dallas Cowboys. I thought that they did a very good job with what they had. They didn't have too much capital, and they traded back a couple times to gain that capital back. They traded back and got Tyler Guyton. I thought that was phenomenal. Tyler Guyton is a Cowboy through and through. Marshawn Nealon, that was a reach in my opinion, but I really, really liked Cooper Beebe. I thought he was one of the best guards. I think he's right there with Graham Barton as the two best guards in this draft, and I love his tape. The rest of this draft, Kalen Carson in the 5th round is a good pick as well, which is why they're here, Now at 17 here, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. I did not really like the Amarius Mims pickup. I thought Troy Fautanu was just a way better player than he was, especially Mims being a guy that has only started 7 games. That being said, I did like Jermaine Burton and Chris Jenkins, which puts this at number 17, but the rest of these picks, Eric All was definitely a reach. Amarius Mims, in my opinion, was a reach. At number 16, I have the Packers here. Jordan Morgan, not many people like that pick. I like that pick. The dude's a stud. The only reason why I didn't like this pick is because Tyler Guyton was still on the board, and Tyler Guyton's a better player. Edge Cooper, loved that pick. Marshawn Lloyd, loved that pick. But the rest of these picks really didn't make too much sense for me. At number 15, I have the Lions. I absolutely loved the Terrion Arnold pick. I just loved that pick. But then he went back to back and get Ennis Rakestraw Jr. I think that will help them. I think that they definitely need help at corner, but that pick probably could have gone somewhere else. Totally a reach getting tackle Giovanni Manu from University of British Columbia. That being said, Manu is a absolute beast of a human being. I think like 6'7", over 300 pounds. But they could have got that guy in the 6th round. Let's be honest here. But hey, he's a player. So again, I like this draft. At number 14, I have the Colts draft. Yes, everyone is in on how this is a top 5 draft class. Edge Latu Latu didn't really understand that one when they had a need at corner. Let's be honest here, and they never addressed that. And that's one of the main reasons I have him lower than everyone else. A.D. Mitchell, phenomenal pick in the middle of the 2nd round there. But then the rest of this draft is just kind of meh. Yes, you did get one of the best edge rushers in this draft. Yes, you did get absolutely great value for A.D. Mitchell. And Matt Gonzalez from Pitt is going to be good, but yes, needs some development. Now at 13th, though, I have the Bucks. I loved the Bucks draft. Not many people did. I loved the edge player Chris Braswell. I loved that pick. Not as refined as his counterpart in Bama, Dallas Turner, but I loved that pick as well. Graham Barton. Kind of everyone thought that that was where he was going to go anyway, so I don't have too much to say about that. Getting Bucky Irving in the fourth round, I loved that pick. I love Bucky Irving as a player, and he'll be a great compliment to Rashad White. At number 12, I have the New York Jets. I love the Olafashanu pick to protect Aaron Rodgers. I love the Malachi Corley pick, a do-it-all wide receiver out of Western Kentucky. But I don't understand drafting two running backs, and especially one that's as overhyped as Braylon Allen, so I have him at 12. And now we're getting into the drafts that I really, really liked. The Saints draft really only fell because there were so many other good drafts in front of it. I really did like this draft. Taliasai Fuaga, absolute steal. That guy should have gone top 12, but they got him at 14 without having to move up. And then getting Kool-Aid McKinstry with the ninth pick in the second round, absolute steal. Kool-Aid McKinstry had first round written all over him. He's a ball hawk. He's a great corner. And then Bub Means out of Pitt. This guy is the real deal. Getting him in the latter end of the fifth round, and he will be a great addition. And at number 10, I have the Chargers, the top 10 draft class this year. I have the Chargers at 10. The Ladd McConkey pick was a good one. I think A.D. Mitchell's a better player, but I think Ladd McConkey fits what Jim Harbaugh is trying to do. And, I mean, this draft was all about what Jim Harbaugh wants to do. I think he made probably all of these picks, to be honest with you. These are all players that would want to play his style of ball. Joe Alt, physical, bully ball. Same with Ladd McConkey. Same with Junior Colson. Players like Kamani Vidal out of Troy. Getting Cornelius Johnson out of Michigan. These are players that he trusts, will fit well in his system. Now we move on to the Patriots draft at ranked number 9. You can totally tell that this is a change in philosophy. 7 out of the 8 players were on the offensive side of the ball, but for the players themselves, really loved the Drake May pick, by the way. Jalen Polk was a reach for me. It really was. There were about 2 or 3 other wideouts that I liked more than Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk, in my opinion, was an early third rounder. Caden Wallace is a project at offensive tackle. And the rest of these guys really, Joe Milton, I don't know why they even drafted him. But at 8, I have the New York Giants. I like the pick of Tyler Nubin. Really like the pick of Malik Neighbors. I think if they would have gone quarterback, I would have been like, no, don't go there. But they did get a elite player in Malik Neighbors. I love the Tyler Nubin pick. Tyler Nubin was my hidden gem out of Minnesota. And Theo Johnson, tight end out of Penn State, will be a great addition as well. And at number 7, I have the Minnesota Vikings. Their 2 top picks, excellent picks, getting the best edge player in the draft, in my opinion, hands down, in Dallas Turner and in quarterback J.J. McCarthy. They only had to trade up one spot for him, and he seemed to be their guy all along. The rest of their picks were really traded away to get those 2 guys. The rest of the picks of value, of course. But getting kicker Will Reichert out of Bama in the 6th round, absolute steal. Like, the dude was the king of clutch kicks last year at Bama. And at number 6, I have the Arizona Cardinals. My, they had a lot of picks here. But getting the best overall player in the draft in Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously is a great pick when you make it. Darius Robinson, didn't really understand that one, but just the immense amount of picks that they had. Max Melton from Rutgers, Trey Benson from Florida State. These are all guys that will help them out tremendously. Man, this was quite a draft class. At 8, I have the New York Giants. I like the pick of Tyler Nubin. Really like the pick of Malik Neighbors. I think if they would have gone quarterback, I would have been like, no, don't go there. But they did get a elite player in Malik Neighbors. I love the Tyler Nubin pick. Tyler Nubin was my hidden gem out of Minnesota. And Theo Johnson, tight end out of Penn State, will be a great addition as well. And at number 4, I have the Baltimore Ravens. They had a phenomenal class. I love the pick of Roger Rosengarten, the pick of Edge Adissa Isaac. They needed a guy on the edge to complement Justin Madubuike. Nate Wiggins, in my opinion, it was just a meh pick, but they got good value for him. TJ Tampa, absolutely love that pick. Tez Walker, one of my most overrated players in the draft. At number 3, I had the Bears, short and sweet, right? By the way, if you haven't already, like the video, comment down below which draft you like the best as we come up here on the top 3. Caleb Williams, obviously number 1. Rome Odunze, getting a guy for him. Torrey Taylor, probably an overdraft, let's be honest. But hey, they needed a punter, and he's probably one of the best punters to come out in a very long time. At number 2, who's it going to be? It's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. They got an absolute steal here in Kenyon Mitchell and in safety corner Cooper DeJean. They fixed the secondary completely with these 2 picks. And for good measure, they added Will Shipley, Anais Smith, and Jeremiah Trotter, who are great picks in my opinion. So was Johnny Wilson. Really, you can't go wrong with this draft. And at 1, yes, if you use process of elimination, we're here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. With this draft, there was no bad pick in this draft. Troy Fautanu, a player that probably should have gone in the top 15, an absolute mauler, a great player, got picked here at 20. Zach Frazier, a absolute stud athlete and a hard-nosed player as ever will come, right there at him. Peyton Wilson, absolutely great pick here. Who won the Best Linebacker of the Year award. Mason McCormick, a mountain of a man, and then you get corner help in Ryan Watts, who is a good player. He's slow though. And then these other picks, Logan Lee and Roman Wilson, great players as well. This Steelers draft class, and before you say, oh, he's a Glazer, oh, he's a homer, no, tons of people have been saying this. Everywhere up and down the internet, they've been saying this, that the Steelers have had a top 3, dare I say, number 1 overall draft class here. So that's all I have for you guys today. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.